What's going on, everyone? Steven here from techmaker.tv. This is building a decentralized chat application with aleph.im and Node JS part 19. In this episode, we're going to work on filtering out messages and working on the interface a little bit so that if you're not part of a private channel, you cannot post messages. Now, there's nothing preventing you from posting messages directly to Aleph, so we need to actually filter out stuff that does get posted that's maybe not in our app or in some other app that's using the same protocol. However the messages get on Aleph, we want to filter them out here if we don't intend to show them to our users, if they've set it up to be private or what have you. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get this going. So we're mostly going to be working in this new channels.show.ejs. And essentially what we need to do is add another modifier right here. So right here on this append message. So what's happening, just to kind of refresh everybody's memory, if we refresh, you'll see the screen loads. Actually, you know what? That might be because, hold on one sec. Let me open a new incognito window here. I thought I had a good example, but it was not quite right. So let's log in with our Samantha account. And once we're in here, let's go to channels and let's request access to this private channel. You know what, before we continue here, one thing I want to do, and actually I have an idea for basically some kind of questions I want to answer in a couple extra episodes that I had not thought about. Like, we're just showing the address of the person who posted. I'd like to be able to show like the actual username if there is one and that sort of thing. So I might look into that a little bit. I know that Aleph has an account system of some sort. But for now, what I want to do, just so I can keep track of who the heck is logged in, I'm going to do, do I have a user dot email? Let me just go over here and refresh and see if that works. It might be email address. Maybe it's actually, no, so I don't have an email. I have username. Yeah, so I'm logged in as Samantha. Okay, cool. So now we can see who I'm logged in as here. And over here, I'm logged in as Jackson Smith. This way I can tell what's what. So Samantha just actually joined this channel, right? And she can post. And it's going to show up here because that's coming in via WebSockets. If I refresh, you'll see that this first message on the left appears, and then this one comes in later. And I'll show you why in just a second in case it's not obvious. So you see that little flicker? Okay, so the reason that's happening is because up here in our messages, so we're checking if it's a public channel, just go ahead and leave it. But otherwise, we want to check to make sure that they actually have their address added to this list of approved addresses. So it is getting filtered out on page load, but it's not getting filtered out on the WebSocket side. So those messages can slip through the cracks. And we have this data approved addresses thing here. Which we need to work on. Okay, so let's see what exactly we need to do. So we have a stray console log somewhere, and it's printing out this. And this actually is kind of useful because if we go look, you can see here that approved addresses is an array. But if we go look over here in the document and inspect, you can see that it's just this string. And I suspect that that's because we need to JSON parse this thing. So we could do json.parse. Like this. And let's refresh and see if it does anything different. Yeah, it does. Unexpected token. You know what? Let's actually... I really feel like that should be an array because that is what's coming over the wire. But that's not what we're getting. That may be an issue for the next episode. I'm not sure. Because in the next episode, what we're going to do is expand this so that you can actually add approved addresses to the list. And so we may have to if this works like I think it's going to work, we will have to come back because right now it's just putting this one address here, which is problematic. So, but anyway, let's get the filtering built, and I think we'll deal with that bug in the next. So this should be pretty quick, actually. So we have this data approved addresses here, and basically what I think we need to do is say, like, I'm going to create a function, and I'm going to make a note when I want really quick, like, to do handle multiple addresses in approved list. So right now we're just going to deal with what we have because I just want to get the filtering in place, and then like I said, in the next episode we'll be able to approve people. We should update our list, which is going to make us change this function. So what we're going to want to do is first of all we're going to want to grab the data. Where are we? So we have approved addresses, and then we have data approved addresses. So what we can do is say, first of all, let's change this and say is approved, something like that, right? And then what we can do is say, first of all, let approved addresses equal, and then we'll do $. I think we have jQuery in here. I see it. Approved addresses, and then .data approved addresses, like that. And so that's probably going to be a string of one item for now. What we would like it to be is an array, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So then we have return message.content. I think it should be address, probably, equals approved addresses. And that's confusing because we're really gonna in the future have this to be an array, and this will actually be content. What we'll do is say approved addresses dot include, and then this address. But really quick, let's console log the message.content really quick and just see what's in there, and let's go refresh. Actually, we can't. We need to go here first, like that, and let's go refresh now. Okay, so you see that's popping in. I did not change that. Sorry, here we go. Approved. All right, so now it's not getting added. Let's check if Jackson's gets added. No. So let's actually throw a debugger in here. Like that. And we'll refresh and just kind of see, like, wait, it just came in just now. Okay, so let's just quickly glance at the code. So we have message, right? And then we're saying, so we have message dot, where is it? Message.content.address. Okay, so message.content.address is that. And then we need to grab this approved messages data approved messages here. And That's not me either. So who created this channel? Maybe... Oh, wait, I need to skip over this. Okay, so Jackson Smith, his address is this 0x0EF, so on. So we'll play. All right, so let's go ahead and try to submit a message. Testing filter. And let's see if anything comes back through here. Okay, cool. So now we've got a message.content.address, right? And over here, let's actually just check. So we'll say let approve messages, yada, yada, yada. Or approved addresses, undefined. Why is that undefined? That's peculiar. First time I ran it, it was... Okay, so there may be something going on there that I'm missing. You know what? Let's do like this. Let's just directly do that. And then cut this. I'm just looking at the pattern above. Okay. And then we'll need to return. Like that. And let me actually just try this in the browser. Okay, so let's just... that, and that's true. Okay, so that should work going forward. Okay, so let's save this. Let's refresh the page to get that new JavaScript in there. And testing again. And hopefully this one shows up. Okay, so now that one shows up. And it shows up over here for Samantha as well. And then we'll say testing from Samantha. And hopefully that one does not show up here. So it doesn't show up there, and it doesn't show up there, right? And that's what we want. Cool. Okay, so we can close these, but now let's go over here to channels. If I join this public test, okay, I think we're going to end up in the same problem. So hi from Samantha. This one should also not show up. Okay, so that seems to be as expected. It's not right, but if we refresh here, I think it will show up. And the reason for that is because we're loading messages in two ways, which we've identified. When the page loads, we take whatever messages we have, put them on the screen, and we have logic built out for that. And we're like saying, okay, if it's a public or if it's approved, then go ahead and add it to the screen. So what I want to do, is basically add that same logic down here. So what we can actually do is start by going ahead and changing this and say channel type here. And we'll say channel details dot type. And all I want to do down here is say is approved. And what we can do is extend this and say that, or, and this is going to be kind of a long statement here, but we could say channel type dot data type. Let me make sure how I did that up here. I did not do it right. Let's say data type. And then down here at the bottom, we'll say, if I can find where I was, we'll say data type equals public. Like that. Right? So either we want to be approved or we want this to be public. Okay, so let's go ahead and refresh to get that JavaScript reloaded, and then say testing again from Samantha. And now this should show up. Okay, but it should not show up on private test. This should not show up. Let's see. Cool. So let's flip back over to Jackson and test on his. So his should continue to show up in the private. So this should show up here. And public, I assume, also works just as fine. So we say, hi, Samantha. Cool. All right. I think that's it. I mean, basically, we've got our filtering set up. So now we filter out comments coming in from people who are not approved. So the next thing that I'm going to want to do is when we have, so basically, if you created the channel, I want you to be able to access a page that's like this URL /members or something. So we'll set that up. That doesn't exist yet. And then you'll be able to manage who's in the group and so on and so forth. So we'll get to that in the next video. And then after that, I've got a few things I'm going to try to clean up in the UI. And nothing major, but I just want to kind of work out a couple of like logical things. And I want to like deal with the fact that I'd like to see who this is, not just the address. So once we get through that, I keep saying we're going to wrap up this series, and I keep finding other little interesting things I'd like to dive into. What I'm really trying to do with this series, honestly, is beef up my own knowledge of how Aleph works so that I can really understand how to do data modeling over there pretty well. And so it's all very exploratory. And then in the next couple of series, we'll like really expand on that. So anyway, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you in the next episode.